I know, squirrel. Exactly what it is.
We are live on Facebook, boys. Matt, let me know when you got me.
Look out.
I love it.
And
Still waiting.
here we go. And we are live on
shows in the
Instagram.
corner
And you
first.
guys are looking at the new race car. Things are getting hot and ready for
Chase,
the best
no,
race
that's not the
season.
new race car, Chase.
Boom.
That's the new race
Man,
car.
boom.
Freaking genius around here.
All these cars are looking alike, these wraps.
When you started this job, did you realize it was in the automotive industry? You know nothing.
No, I kind of was just improvised. I thought we were outdoors. Recreational.
Camping, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job. I don't know how you got it. certainly don't know how you keep the job.
Charisma, Justin, charisma.
Everybody is convinced that you've got incriminating evidence of me in some position or something that keeps you here.
I think
it might be true.
I think it's just we share the same birthday brothers.
You're
Justin.
so not the same. Not even close. You and I are exactly a perfect example of why astrology is not real.
Hey.
And you notice I was looking over here to the authority because after having a chance to talk today, we are talking to somebody very special, and that is Lindsay Hunt, the president of SuperATV.
Hello, hello.
And so full disclosure, we've actually been walking around the shop for a couple of hours, and some of the questions that we're going to have for her today, we've already covered just a little bit because of just chatting, right?
Absolutely.
But we want to know a little bit about what you guys think. What would you ask the president of SuperATV if you were here? And we might be able to get to those, but maybe not. We'll see how this goes. So, Lindsay, thank you very much for coming in and talking with us, walking around a little bit, and spending at least a full day in town. I guess you guys have other plans too.
We do. We're here till Sunday, and thank you so much for having us. Flew in from Indiana this morning into some beautiful sunshine, and really have loved the tour and the conversation, and what a fabulous company you guys have.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Hopefully we can have a tour of yours at some point too.
Please.
When we get back that direction. But let's get started. So some of the things that we here in the shop wanted to know are kind of along the same lines of the questions that we get a lot, which is how did you guys start SuperATV? How I know that might be a pretty big question. There might be a lot involved in it, and you probably told it a lot. But let everybody else know, when there was nothing, how did there become something?
It started with fun and a passion, and I think a similar story in our garage. And my father started the company, and it all stemmed from the desire to have a better product. And he had an old Sportsman four-wheeler, and he wanted bigger tires on it. And so he and his buddies sat around and brainstormed, like, okay, let's do some offset A-arms. And we still have that original set of offset A-arms that just completely clunky from where they were at the time, but they accomplished the job of bigger tires. And he has a really rich background in manufacturing, so started looking at, well, if I can make these, I can make a bumper, I can make a lift kit. And then all of his buddies wanted it, and it grew into a little bit of a disruptor business, because at the time the model was manufacturer, brand, distributor, dealer, end user, and we came in selling straight to the end user, and it took off.
Did you guys start that in a big shop?
No, little bitty shop, and I love telling this story about him because he kicked himself out of the garage to have more space before he kicked my mom out. He at least evacuated himself. So started out of the garage, and I would help answer the phone, ship emails. We started out on eBay at the time, actually.
Really?
And spent years just on eBay, and morphed into a website and tried to figure it out and become a little more sophisticated in selling. And
how'd you guys ship out of the garage?
USPS, flat rate envelopes, and it was
double stuffing them shut?
Yes, 100%. The lift kit box was just a little too big to really fit in the flat rate envelope, but my mom would make it work, and against the better love of the post office, I will say that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
if it fits, it ships.
That was your motto in the garage.
Yes.
From the garage, what was your next step?
we moved into an old tobacco warehouse, and didn't need it all, but it was a vacant building in our town and occupied a small portion, and that's really where we started developing more our engineering department and the shop, and got some of our first equipment for manufacturing there, and it just took off. And I remember the growing pains. We would continue adding on. It was really, I don't know about you, but we really struggled to have the foresight of how big the business could get and where the industry was growing. And even though we always thought we were thinking big, like, let's add on this much, we'd outgrown it in a year. And
it was never enough.
It was never enough. And we're going through the same thing right now. We have our facility, and we're having to split into 2 facilities. We're going to have an anchor of shipping and manufacturing in one facility, and then our innovation, marketing, and new product development in the other. And wonderful growing pains, but
if yours is like my thought process, then I'm sure you were probably concerned about putting a ton of money into the addition and the growth, and you don't want to throw in a pile and then leave yourself short. So the growth is always the safest step, and
Yes.
it's been not enough for you guys because the growth has outpaced it.
That's right. That's right. And what a fun industry we've been in. Just every time the machine's up, the power, the speed, the industry grows, and we definitely saw that last year. Even what a 2020 we had.
So COVID was good to you guys, just like it was for us.
Yes, absolutely. And we went through the emotional roller coaster that I think a lot had of the immediacy of, okay, contract, like conserve cash, make sure you have the money to pay everything. And about 3 days later, we're like, get more inventory in, get this staffing, answer the phone. And it was just we kept saying drinking from a fire hose.
Good analogy.
Yeah, and we have an amazing, can't say enough about the incredible people we have at Super ATV who just hung on, came in and stayed safe, and got the product shipped out and phones answered to the best of our abilities. And sorry if you were someone who had to wait for about 5 minutes on the phone on hold during those times. It was a very real problem. Thank you for sticking with us.
5 minutes, I pray for 5-minute hold times around here, because I hear they're about 10 a lot, and we try our best, but it is very hard to do.
It is.
When the phone rings off the hook, I don't know how many calls you feel today, but it's a lot.
It's a lot. And the complexity of the calls are, sometimes it takes no time, and sometimes
30 minutes an hour.
It's 30 minutes an hour, and you do what you have to do to take care of the customer.
So with the success of the company, the starting of it in the garage, and the success of it now, did you ever see yourself being in this position back then? So it's garage, Dad has an idea, and you guys push it forward and make some stuff that people want. Where did you think that it was going to go at that very moment?
In those times, I remember, so I was in high school at the time, and I remember sitting around the kitchen table and looking at, he'd come home and like, what do you guys think of these logos? Or what do you think of the name? It's short, there's URL available, so it's clicking. And at the time, I had zero interest in, we didn't think it would become what it is today then, but even after I went to school and did a couple things and came back, I started working as an interim before I was supposed to go on to chiropractic school. And I loved it. I started off in customer service, and I swear that is the key to any success I've been able to have at Super ATV, because knowing the customer and knowing what their troubles are and their pain when we didn't get an axle shipped out and they can't go riding that next weekend. You just get to know the customer.
And your product.
And the product.
You have to know it to talk to them.
100%. And I'm an avid rider and love it. So, but no, I did not see myself coming back and doing this, but I've loved every single step of it. I've answered the phone, I've helped ship, I had IT and marketing and HR and all the fun departments.
Every single one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you, you said you had gone away for a little bit. I assume that might have been education or college. What'd you do?
Yep, I went to Goucher College out in Baltimore and went pre-medical studies and business management. Nerd moment here, and then econ and chemistry were some minors in there. I loved learning.
Did you blow anything up in the chemistry lab?
I did not. Organic chemistry is my jam, though. So yes, total nerding out here, guys. Organic chemistry, breaking apart those carbon oxygen molecules. I can talk about that, but no. So I thought that was going to be my career. I wanted to get into the medical field, and right after college, I went to China for a year I was a volunteer English teacher, and it's like, okay.
So fluent in Chinese too? No?
No.
Just fluent in English?
Just fluent in English, maybe a little Italian in there, but a really short story. I was supposed to go to Guyana, and 2 weeks before, there was a sniper, and the Ministry of Education shut the program down. So they're like, you can go to the Marshall Islands or China. And it's like, okay, China, here we come. And
surprise.
Emotionally there were some high highs and some low lows over there. It was the middle of kind of nowhere China, not the poorest but not the richest, so it was very humbling. And came back and started working, and here we are. That was in 2009.
Do you have other family members that are in the business as well, or is it pretty much yourself and Dad?
I do. So I do have a sister, and she's not in the business. She was an ER nurse, but my husband works in the business, and he has been with us forever. And I get a lot of people asking, so you work with your dad and your husband? Like, how is that? And we don't know any better, but it's wonderful. And it's great because we all work well together, and we have the same goal and same passion, and we love the industry, and
let me ask you this, are the boardroom meetings a family knockdown drag out, or is it actually a business meeting?
Sometimes family dinner is just a business meeting, but we all get along very seamlessly well, and we challenge each other. It's not just total agreements all the time. It is very, how can we level up? How do we do more? How do we become better? How do we better serve our customers, have better products? And the key is to challenge each other, and what's the goal, and win together.
When you guys get together and try and talk about the products that you're selling, is there a process that you guys go through and decide what new products you're going to make? I mean, and I don't mean that you're already making, say, a portal for UTV, so the next model of UT comes out, you're going to make that, of course. But I mean a brand new one, a brand new product you don't currently make. How do you guys decide to do that? Yeah,
so let's talk about rear steer. And we brought it out last fall, but that was a whole new item group, or we call them item groups internally, but a whole new category for us. So we sat and thought, okay, we love big lift kits, we love portals, we love big tires. But you do lose turning radius, and you lose your ability to see what's going on when you're backing up. And worst case, you hit someone, or tear your machine up. It's like, okay, what can we do to solve that problem? And the answer was rear steer. And so that's sometimes the thought is born out of necessity and just knowing the industry and how the products are used. And
that's because you guys are out there using it.
And it's because we're out there using it. We love taking half days on Fridays and going out and doing some product testing. And those are the best board meetings, absolute best. Yes.
Of the products that you guys have, what would you say are the top 3?
We are very, very strong in windshields, suspension, and I'm going to put A-arms and axles and suspension, and portal gear lifts. And those are 3 of my favorite products as well. At Super, we sell a lot of different products, and most of them, nearly all of them, are our own design and work and brand. So as we look through, I think the windshield, it's practical. It's one of the first things that as a rider I love. And axles, if you break an axle, ball joint, steering, you're dead on the trail. So having that quality axle in there, and then a portal gear, especially in Midwest riding, I didn't really appreciate. When we launched them, they were, okay, it's great in the South, you have big mud tires, things like that, you get your torque back. And when I started riding on them in the Midwest, and I remember my first trip to Moab with them even, so any like technical rock crawling, things like that, it transforms your machine, and you just can't understand how much more capable your machine is until you ride with them. And so I love the story of portals because once you're in them, you almost don't go back.
Especially for where you guys.
I would say for our type of riding.
And that maybe not so much for the desert, but then there isn't that type of terrain where you and a lot of your customers are.
That's right.
We thought about throwing portals on the race car just to get ground clearance and lower the assembly, or maybe I should say that the other way: maintain 15 or 16 inches of ground clearance, but raising the arm up so we're not all topped out to get to that point.
Yep.
And do they draw a ton of horsepower? Because that would be the one thing that we would shy away from, that portion.
You might lose some of your top end speed. I will say we have a handful of people who do run King of Hammers with them and do very well with them. It's probably not your best in the desert.
Of course.
But hammers,
perfect for
they're
that.
solid.
What do you guys, what's the process of a brand new product? So let's just say it's portals. So you guys are designing with your own engineers.
Yes.
And prototyping in-house. How does that go? And how much of that is there? And how much do you guys, throughout the process of a new product to a whole bunch of them on the shelf, then what typically is that?
Okay, so we are able to do a lot of the manufacturing ourselves, whether it's here or a wholly owned foreign entity. Something like a tire we design the mold for, but we don't. If we wanted to bring a tire to market, we work with our supplier, tell them the market we're going for, the mold ideas we have, the tread pattern, and we use SolidWorks in-house for engineering software, and we'll send that over and get samples. So, but if it's something, our core competencies are in the manufacturing world of, we're really good at tube, we're really good at steel, things like that. And if a new model comes out, portals or an A-arm, we scan it. We have FairArm where we'll go in and do the scanning and 3D modeling, and it'll kick over to the engineering team. And engineering new product development will design them, get high clearance, adjustability, make sure it's going to work with a lift kit, all the goodies through there, and then it kicks out to our prototype shop. And so we do 3 prototypes, and the goal is to have 1 round of prototypes. So we'll go ahead and do 3 and powder coat 1 and get it tried on, do pictures and testing. And we have, I hope you come out, we have a fantastic test facility. We take it very seriously of knowing where our products go to failure. So A-arms, we have a drop machine, so you're going to see at what point, if you clip a tree or if you clip something, where is that strength and where is it going to break first, and where do you want it to break first?
Sometimes building a fuse into the system is better than ripping the frame apart.
Yes, and that can be a really hard thing for some people to understand, but you do want certain products to break before you tear your complete car apart.
So once you've done the prototyping, then do you manufacture the majority of that in-house? Or do you have other vendors too?
It depends on the product, but the A-arm, so we'll do, in Madison we have production, and then we do have our own facility where we do production elsewhere as well. So we control the inventory, absolutely control the quality. All the employees are ours, and run it that way.
And then pallet them away, and hopefully shipping goes quick. Good luck.
That's right, and that we have great inventory turns on it. I would guess that you guys can appreciate supply chain is a difficult process, really difficult, especially when you take you want to have it on the shelf ready to ship for the customer, and sometimes in a growing industry, forecasting is nearly impossible.
Agreed. Did
I hit a hot button there?
Yeah.
So we always pride ourselves on having it in stock. We don't have it on the website unless we have it here.
Yep.
And that went out the window when COVID hit. Because not only did we have growth, which wasn't a problem to write the check to have the inventory. The problem is you write the check and you can't get the inventory.
Yes.
And so that's really the only thing that's ever held us up. And you guys are on another scale. I can imagine the pain that you have to go through dealing with people that are supposed to supply to you, and then they've got nothing but excuses.
It is, and all I can say is, Penny and your team, you did a fantastic job. Thank you.
She must be in charge of forecasting and purchasing.
Yes, she is. And I will say, even this year, so we had a lot of conversation last year with the expansion and extra money in our industry. Was it a pull forward? Do we expect 2021 to be more stagnant because anyone who wanted to be in the industry, were you jumping in 2020 and it was just, or was it just strictly repurposed money from not going on vacation and getting a stimulus? And you know, we put 2021 forecast together, and it wasn't crazy aggressive, it wasn't conservative. We thought we were in the middle, and we were wrong, of course. So inventory is trying to keep up with that, but you know, it's a great problem to have, and want to be chasing that side of it.
For sure. So just what's your business opinion of this year? Do you think, well, number one, obviously we're thinking growth.
Yes.
But do you think that repurposed money is a really good way to put a term that a lot of people don't put enough value in? You know, and when someone can't go on vacation, but they still have the $2,000 set aside to do it, they're going to spend it on the car, the UTV, to go play, right? Repurposed extra money.
Yes.
Well, there's more of that. You've got stimulus, and you've got tax returns this month and next month, and things aren't completely open. How do you see that being spent? Again, in our industry, more or less?
I think it's going to be more, and I'm excited for this year specifically because I feel like the OEMs have their feet under them a little bit better, and they're able to get cars out on the showroom floors for people to come by. I mean, there were people who had money burning a hole in their pocket. I want this machine, and you couldn't get one, so they went and bought.
Used market went up.
Used market went up. They maybe spent it and went and bought a Jeep or went and
trailer,
something.
motorhome.
That's right. So I think the money's still there, and I think the excitement, the best part, the excitement for our industry is still here, and people have more inventory than they did last year. The machines are available, and I think 2021, 22, the next few years are going to be really phenomenal for the off-road industry.
You mentioned the OEMs. That makes me wonder, what is your relationship with the OEMs? How tight are you? And can you give me some of the phone numbers to talk to the guys that are in charge of all the new models so that I can confirm the stuff we're not supposed to know about?
I wish I had a phone number for any of them. Man, if you get it, share. But we're just as surprised as anyone else when a new model comes out, and I wish we weren't. But and we really want to get products to the consumer as fast as we can. And so as soon as a new model comes out, we're in touch with as many dealers as we can. Hey, we have a fleet of units in our shop just to get stuff tried on and out to market.
When you first started, obviously there was just a couple of employees, if you want to call yourself an employee.
Yeah.
But since then to today, what is your employee number? And I ask that in kind of a funny way because that can be a good thing, or it can be a very crazy, frustrating thing too.
It is, and I will say this, we're in a smaller town, so attracting a lot of people has been, we're grateful that we have a great culture and we're in a fun industry. But when I started, we were sub 10, and we are up to pushing 375 domestically, and
you said
more
domestically.
Yep.
That caught me off guard.
Yep.
That means you've got some in other places too.
We have employees in other places and around the world, and pushing 350 outside as well. And
350 here and 350 across the world.
Yes, and so it's a lot, and more than anything, it takes really amazing people to make it all happen. And it's been a learning curve and a growth thing for me. I'm sure when you start, you knew the customers and you talked to them, and you had your hands on shipping and everything else. And when you grow and you have to let that portion of it go, you can only let it go when you have the right person to let it go to, and then you can look to where do we need to grow the business and what do we need to be doing.
It's kind of like letting your child drive off for the first time.
Yes.
Right? Hard to do.
I've got 14 more years. But I can imagine it, yes.
That's right, and you've got your family here today.
Yes,
right? They're running around here somewhere.
They are running around. I'm pretty sure Theodore was in both of the pit car and your race car.
He was tightening lug nuts a second ago, actually, on the race car. It's pretty awesome.
He said the team, they were all tight. Yes, but the whole family loves this, and it's just, one thing I really love about our industry is, and when the four-seater came out, it became a family industry, and so much of so many of the business have kept it family friendly and family oriented, and it's just been really, really great to watch and be a part of. I mean, this is something that you get to dream of, and you get to be a part of starting when an industry is an infant and then growing into it. And I like to humbly think that we've helped the industry become where it is with some of the aftermarket parts and accessories that we've come up with.
Well, you like we talk about all the time, we're doing what we love.
Yes.
So it really isn't work.
Yep.
And that really, at least for me,
Yep.
it's not. It's fun to come up with new things and test them and make a vehicle better in some way, shape, or form. If we had any kind of like credit to making it better, I really take a lot. It makes me feel really good to do that. I can see that in what you guys do too.
Yep. And what you guys do, I can't remember I remember I had an 11900, and I didn't really appreciate what good suspension was until we rode in that machine. And even though the shocks, like when they would extend, they clinked and clanked, but coming off of an 800 in the Rhino and all of that stuff, it
was night and day.
It was night and day.
Yeah.
You didn't know, and so full appreciation of what you guys do.
Do you guys have any major plans for the company going forward in the future besides just trying to keep up next year? Do you have anything else that you have planned?
We have a lot of visions for growth and ways that we can bring new product and innovation to the market and expand where we are in the industry and expand our customer base. I am so excited and so motivated for what the future of Super ATV looks like that this is maybe my funnest time in the business ever.
Do you have any secret parts you want to give us a hint on?
I'll ship you one day.
Oh, then I can talk to everybody else.
Yeah.
All right, tell me what I can talk about and what I can't. I get in trouble for doing that a lot.
Well, there'll be a check sheet.
How about, earlier we had lunch with everybody else.
Yes.
And you got a chance to meet Lauren and you got a chance to meet Sam. And so that sparked something in my mind. And I wonder, have you run into a lot of the same roadblocks that we see here, being a female in the male industry, dominated male industry, right? So just for an example of what we deal with. So if Lauren is probably one of the most trained and intelligent people here on our product and everything that we do. And if you get her on the phone, you're gonna get the right answer no matter what. Yet, most guys don't want to talk to her. They want to go to somebody else. They immediately will give me to your boss or your manager. Or is there a dude there I can talk to about my dude stuff?
Yes.
So have you run into that?
Absolutely, and wherever you are in here, Tyler, thank you for hearing me complain so many nights about my rage on it. But it does, and I remember a couple very distinct moments in my career where I was sitting there, and this is when there were only two of us answering the phone. The other gentleman was a last resort phone answerer because he was our graphic designer. Knew nothing about.
He's going to give out office hours and the address.
Yeah, that's right. But I remember getting the call, and the first thing was, "Hey, can I speak to a guy about this?" And so, yes, customer, absolutely. I transferred to Andy, and he very quickly convinced them that they needed to talk to me because I knew what I was talking about. But it is very frustrating, and it hurts your feelings, and then it makes you want to fight for, and you get all these emotions. But I've had a multitude of things. But I will say too, the industry has been very accepting and very open about it. But you do have the instances where it's that, or you're immediately assumed to be in a certain role within the business, and
you walk into a big business meeting and they're assuming that you're not the person.
Yes.
Well, it's a play on words, but you're not the guy.
That's right.
Right.
It is. Are you the secretary? You must do this role, and I've probably done all those roles, but that wasn't my role at the time, there have been many things, and we have a very strong female group who helps answer a phone, and we make sure they are. What it does, it makes you become better at your job, or it made me do that. There's no way I'm going to let someone out-talk me or ask me a question that I can't answer. So it made me study harder. It made me go out there and turn the wrenches more, or drive the cars more, so I could understand exactly how each product worked, whether it was on a Razor, a Defender, whatever it was. I could do it.
Seems like you overcome that pretty quick.
Yes. Yes.
What do you see, or where do you see yourself, not super, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I just want to love life in 10 years. I want to be enjoying it. I have this crazy personal goal to write a book. And so a couple weeks ago, I was actually weirdly inspired. I was with Theodore, and we were we were coming back from a vacation, and I should preface this with this much and say, I never thought I would ever want to be a mom. And he was not an accident, but it was like, it just didn't fit my worlds. And packing up from vacation, I put a stuffed animal into my purse. I'm like, okay, this is great. This is a great part of life. And it just spurred me into, okay, I really want to write my book right now. So really long story I think I'm going to be an author. I think I'll be an author in 10 years. I hope I'm still loving this business, and that's something that comes separate, but.
Well, just the crazy growth from garage to where you guys are at right now, I'm sure that wouldn't be one chapter. That literally is one book.
Yes.
By itself, without any other life experiences.
It is, and I think I do have a unique perspective as a woman to be able to speak to other women who are in industries that are very male-dominated, or just maybe the women, they don't have the confidence or knowing that you can do different things and you can still have a family side and you can still have a career side, and they can be one and great together. And had you told me that 20 years ago, 20 years ago, Lindsay would have said, you're crazy. You have to choose. So
yeah,
I've got the perspective too of, I was wrong. It can be.
Which is really, really cool to be able to understand, and a lot of people don't get it. But I wonder what your older, wiser self today would tell your youngest self when you first started the business.
Yeah.
That you didn't know or wouldn't listen to anyone. What is that one piece of advice that you have now, knowing what you know, that you wish you could have told your younger person right there, younger self?
That's a great question.
And then I'll give you a couple of minutes. I'll go beat up on Chase for a second and give you some time if you want to.
Chase?
Don't worry, we got questions coming in on the feed as well.
Yeah, what now?
We have some more questions coming in on the feed as well.
Are they good, Chase?
For our next...
Seriously, I don't think we should let Chase decide if the questions
I wouldn't be letting me decide, but one of them is one of my favorite segments that we always do on the show.
Oh, okay, we'll get to that.
I think I've got a good answer. Surround yourself with people who are smarter than you, and it can be in different areas, but for example, I can't program to save my life. I'm not in IT, but I can talk the language and I can see how systems can help with the business, but just surround yourself with really good people who can do it, and they'll elevate you. The goal is to continuously see the next level and work to get there and evolve. I've said it for years. If you're maintaining, you're dying. And as soon as you just get comfortable and you're maintaining, you become obsolete.
I think that's really awesome advice. Knowing what you just said there, that means that every room that Chase walks into,
I'll say I got it going on.
He is the dumbest one in it. Also, that means that I wish I had your advice, because I should have probably told myself 3 years ago to never hire Chase.
I need
would
to
have
know
been a
some
lot
of these
less
Chase
hassle
stories.
for me in the last 3 years.
I need to hear some of the stories, Chase.
I live by your rule every day. That's all I could say.
Well,
leveling up. Okay, way to
go. Do you know, I think this is really eye-opening for a lot of people to get to know you a little bit better and the business, because you are the business. And so if you guys have any questions in the next 10 seconds, you can throw out there, then we'll address them. Yes. Chase, I'm scared to see what you're going to do.
That's going to lead us into our favorite part of the show.
Okay.
This one specifically for the Super ATV. What do you guys have in store for, wait for it, the Speed UTV from Keith G 2020? Or what do you think of the Speed UTV?
What do we think of it?
No
Sorry.
comment.
You know what, Chase? I'm so thrown off right now.
Well, let me ask you. Have you driven it yet?
I have not.
Have you seen it yet?
Tyler has.
Okay, so How can she give proper advice, you guys? I don't understand. That's just my take. But go ahead.
What do you think?
You know, we get this question every single feed.
Yes.
Every single feed, I say the same thing. You know what? When I drive it, I'll give you my opinion. Until then, I have none. I'm sorry. Robbie's a good guy, and he's a smart guy, and he's got plenty of experience. It's going to come out amazing. That is my guess. But until I drive it, I don't have an opinion.
So here's a little bit of backstory on it. I've known Robbie for a really long time, and I've been in his shop a couple times, and the way the man's brain works is nothing short of incredible.
Agreed.
And he's come up and we've tested some of his stuff. He has really fantastic stuff, but the last time he was in and Tyler was able to drive something, it was pretty incredible. And what he does, taking the trophy car market and putting it into a UTV.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think it's more race car. From what I've seen, it's more race car inspired design and experience thrown to what would be an off-the-shelf UTV. So that's created a whole nother thing. You're not talking about making an off-the-shelf UTV. It's taking that and coming down to where people can drive it. So.
It is. The suspension is smooth on it.
Awesome.
We gotta give him that.
Well, he and I talked quite a bit about that, and there's things in the works, that's for sure. On something that I've never driven and don't have an opinion on, just so you know.
Just so you know.
Hey, Matt, Mitch, you guys got anything before we quit?
Okay.
I had one from McCoy Racing. He wants.
They don't make inner CVs for the Rhino 2.0 anymore.
Something you used to do and not anymore?
Were they not breaking and we didn't need parts for them?
That would be a good one. Yeah,
I hope that's the answer, but I can get back with our inventory team on that.
I know if the things are strong enough on a factory one, we're not going to look at making parts. Maybe that's the issue.
We really have, and I wasn't trying to be totally smart there on that. We have a really fantastic warranty on our axles, and we don't have a lot of parts for spares. Generally, if you break the axle, you get a whole brand new one, and we don't do a lot of rebuilds. So.
Well, if you guys don't have any other good questions, then you've got one, Mitch?
I got one more. It just came in from Ruben Vega. How can we get a sponsorship from Super ATV?
Oh, give me something free.
Yeah.
That's what that says.
All right, we have a really fantastic team. Messages on social media. Go to our Facebook page, and Corey or Eric will get right with you. But you got to be good. Do you win?
There you go. Back to the episode we did on getting sponsorship. You better have some killer media, or you better win every single race. So I'm just saying, if you got those two, you're pretty much getting it.
That's right.
Otherwise, get in line, because everybody else is in that position too.
Yep.
They got Mitchie in their corner, so they got somebody winning over there.
That's
all
right.
The time.
Mitch is fantastic.
Always.
Yep. Mitch, Sarah Price, you talk about women in the industry. What Sarah has done, I love her, and she has brought she has opened the eyes to so many women, young girls who racing's cool to them. And
it's possible.
And it's possible.
Yeah,
yes.
They see it's being done, they can do it.
Yep.
Very, very cool. Do you have anything that you would like to tell anybody about new things coming out, or any parting words?
No. We have a lot of new products coming out all the time. Really excited. I hope to see some exciting new models this year, different rumors on them. Of course, we won't know until they come out, but just stay tuned, and thank you so much for this. And my favorite part of being out here is our mutual contact, Hubert Rowland, who has just spoke so highly of you. And last time he was in, he's like, you've got to meet Justin.
Well, I will throw that right back at you, because he said the same things about you, and that's why we're sitting here talking. So thank you, Hubert.
Yeah, thank you, Hubert.
Very much. And I think that with a little bit more time to chat, you'll probably see some collaborative work between the two of us, maybe.
Yes. Dun, dun, dun.
That could happen. Yep, teaser. So thank you very much for the time. Thanks for being open as you have been with this interview. Hopefully everybody has learned a little bit more about Lindsay, and also Super, right? I like that you shorten it up to Super. I'm going to use that from now on.
Super. SATV.
So thanks for tuning in. Thank you for watching. If you guys want to get any products from Super, they will have to go to
SuperATV.com.
So easy. Any phone number to talk to anybody?
812-574-7777.
All right. You guys, thanks again for signing in. And we'll probably see you next Tuesday for a Tech Tuesday. Have a good one.
Thank you.
And yes, it's right, ladies and gentlemen, the race car is done. Be ready for a full video coming soon.
we didn't tell him, he wouldn't know that's the one.
You'd be filling with Morgan.